Good morning. I guess we can get started. Good morning. My name is Joe Masabni. I'm the Extension Vegetable Specialist at Dallas Center, part of the Control Environment Agriculture team. Today I will be talking to you about how I start my seeds, especially when dealing with old seeds, to guarantee that they are alive, and instead of waste time filling flats and seeding, etc. What I call water bath. It's not really priming. You can look up seed priming. This is more in a sense of accelerated germination. So let me turn the camera and I'll show you what I do. So this is what I call the water bath. You have an air pump that you get from any aquarium store and air stones. You don't need 2 air stones. It's just that this pump comes with 2 outlets and I didn't want to leave one blowing air and making loud noise, so I used 2 air stones here. And I use these T strainers. Here is the new version that I got. I hope that these will be more sturdy and last longer. I'm using these tea strainers because I'm testing more than one variety at a time. If I was only testing one variety, I can just dump the seeds in the water and they will be fine and they will germinate and they will do great. So these have been in the water for a while, and I already took some out and seeded them, and anything that was not germinated I put back to see if they can germinate some more. And look, see, they're doing great. They're more than ready. You at this stage, when the roots are long, you have to be careful when you move them out from here into here. So you have to be careful when you move them out so you don't break the roots tips. So basically I have to be very careful and very tedious job, one at a time. These are stuck, I've gone through the sieve. One at a time, take it and put it here, one at a time. But at least I know that they are germinated and they are alive. These pepper seeds are from 2008, 2010. So I knew, I was concerned that they may not be alive. Actually, our technician was gonna throw them away, gave up on them. Well, let me show you what we did, what we found out. But first, let me show you what comes after they are germinated. After they are germinated, I put them in flats, 72 cell flats, 200 cell flats, whatever you have. These are 72 cell flats, so 6-pack, each is 6-pack. So they're about like 1 inch by 1 inch each cell. This variety number 8, still no germination. This variety number 2, doing very well. Actually, when I was doing here, you see there's multiple seeds in one. Because when I started transplanting moving the seeds from the water bath to here. I started working with the ones that already had roots. And then the ones that did not have roots, just in case they were not alive, I put 2 or 3 seeds at once. But look, 100% germination. This is not a waste. If I have 2 seeds here, this is not a waste. And this is a great time at this stage to do that. You can use a knife, a spoon, remove them gently. You can separate them, or you can put them in a water bath to separate them. And now you have 2 seedlings that you can separate and put back here. Okay, so and that's the plan. What I want to do here is that all the doubles and triples will go into individual cells. This is from the first test that I did. I did a few seeds at a time from all the 10 varieties that I was trying to germinate, the old seeds. You see 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 100% germination, 7, I don't know, maybe 50%, 8, nothing. I wasn't sure if the seeds swollen and like they wanted more time to germinate. So when I put them here, I did not see the root tip. So that was a gamble. So even after 2 weeks now, they're still not germinated. So this 8, variety number 8, which is the same, I'm not expecting anything to germinate here. So this, that I'm gonna use this here, flat, as to separate, when I separate the doubles and triples from variety number 2, put them here. Because I gave up on variety number 8, that's not gonna make it. So instead of throwing the 10 varieties that I had just because they were 13 years old from 2008, 14 years old now, I was able to recover minimum of 50% and some varieties 100%. I think that this is a better approach for testing old seeds, to speed up germination. Like when I do seedless watermelon, this is the best way to guarantee 100% germination with seedless watermelon, which is notorious for poor germination if you start directly here. Okay? So old seeds, difficult to germinate seeds, a water bath like this is ideal. Start with clean trays, start with fresh media, get a dome. So like this here, what I did is I filled it. The bottom tray does not have water, does not have holes, so I filled it with water. And I closed the lid, and I know I can go for 3, 4, 5 days and not worry about watering too much. Because if you water too much, this is what will happen. You'll see a green mold, algae forming from overwater. Well, this I did not water. This was just water at the bottom of the tray. Now it's all absorbed. But because there's no seeds using up that water, it formed the algae. You don't see the algae here or here. Okay? Water bath. Look up seed priming for different ways. This is not really priming in the true sense of priming definition, but more like accelerating germination. Now, since I have more time, this is kind of a short presentation. I want to show you something else I'm planning for the spring garden. Remember, the topic of this presentation, of this series, is my backyard garden. Since it's 23 degrees outside and everything is frozen, and yesterday Dallas Center was shut down because of the winter storm that we had, I am in the process of planning for my spring planting. I have 10 pepper varieties. I have another 10 tomato varieties. I have melon and squash and grafted watermelon that I will be planting also and share with a grower. Okay, so how do you, I have a video on grafting. At the time it was grafting tomatoes. This was done a few days ago on watermelon and squash. So the rootstock is a squash, which is a resistant variety. And the watermelon is the edible watermelon that we want. A brief recap, brief story on grafting and its benefit is very popular in Asian countries because they have, you can imagine a person with half an acre of land and has been farming it for 100 years with his family, and they have soil diseases that nothing can cure or fix. So the only way to be able to grow in that plot of land is to use resistant varieties and like wild relatives of that plant that is resistant and well adapted to grow in that soil, and then you graft the crop that you want to harvest. So I'm not eating the squash because that's not the edible variety. It's just a relative, strong root system, they're resistant to diseases. I'm interested in the watermelon variety that I want to harvest. And you see, it's a simple graft, just a clip, and put them together. The clip has to be tight enough so that they holds them together. The diameter between the scion and the rootstock have to be close enough so they get a chance to join. This was done 4 or 5 days ago. I put them in the dome with this dome cover. I put them inside in the dark room so they get a chance to heal. And out of all of these that I grafted, this one collapsed. This one is dead. This one did not make it. So that's not bad. I mean, it looks like it took, but then it wilted. So sometimes they wilt because the scion and rootstock were not touching each other well, so it wilted. This looks like it was touching, but I don't know why it died. But anyway, there are a few that I did not graft because they were small at the time, like this one. This one was too big when I tried to graft it because the diameter was too thick, so I just cut it. It's still there, still alive. And these two or three were not grafted. But otherwise, they're all well. Now that they are healed, they need like 4 or 5 days to heal. Then you slowly transition them out to sun. And I need to start adding fertilizer so that they will grow aggressively. What happens is that once it starts growing and the stem gets thicker, it will push the clip out. So if you can recover that clip, great. If not, just buy these clips. You find them online, like 200 clips for about $25, $30. I don't know what's the price now. Everything's going up. But I bought them at the time, 200 clips for $25. Notice something that I did is I grafted a little bit high because when I transplant it in the field, I want to make sure that this union does not touch the soil, okay? Or is not buried. Like I will plant it maybe to this depth here, but not to here, because if I bury this union and then the scion makes its own roots, I lose the benefit of the graft. So for most of them, the graft was relatively high. This one is kind of low, so I have to be careful when I transplant them in the field. So this is the time you should start thinking of your spring garden. I mean, depending on where you are a month and a half away. If you don't have seeds started like me, you should start them immediately. Peppers takes 4 to 6 weeks to reach the ideal size. And this year I'm going to test peppers that I seeded this year that you see here. I have extra plants that I saved from last spring. I moved them in the greenhouse and they are still alive. And I have plants that are 3 months old. So I will have plants that are a year old, plants that are 3-4 months old, and brand new seedlings that I'm going to plant in the garden, and you'll see how they perform in future episodes. So get ready, get your supplies ready, your pesticides, your fertilizers, clean your backpack sprayer. Any day it starts warming up, clean the weeds, add more compost, start seeding indoors, or if you don't have the space, better buy the plants instead of invest all this, and you don't do a good job. You kill them. I see a lot of homeowners that end up killing the plants because they overwater their flats, and they run into a lot of issues. These here are extra watermelon plants that are waiting to be grafted. So I seeded more watermelon, and I seeded more squash, and I seeded more watermelon. So this was batch number 1, and this will be batch number 2. If I'm lucky, I'll have another 72 grafted watermelon, and here hopefully another 30, and there maybe another 60, 40, 50. So if I'm lucky, I'll have 150 grafted watermelon to test, and you'll see the results in future episodes. With that, thank you very much for joining me. And we'll see you next time.